In this video, we're going to explore how to build an AI-powered app from start to finish using Emergent. So what is Emergent? Think of it as the easiest way to turn an idea into a fully functioning app. With just one text prompt, Emergent generates your front end, back end, logic, and database. You don't need tools, developers, or endless steps. It all just happens. And it's not no code, Emergent is vibe coding. It writes real Python code under the hood, but to you it feels like magic. You can add Google authentication in a single click, set up sign-up flows with zero hassle, or even use GPT-powered features, and Emergent integrates LLMs automatically. No API keys required. And Emergent is for builders, creators, founders, really anyone with an idea, whether you're building a game, a tool, or even a micro SaaS. It takes you from idea to product instantly. No devs, no learning curve, no waiting, just idea, product, done. And today we'll put all that into action by creating an AI-powered app called Ready to Move. It's designed to let users upload photos of their belongings, and the AI will generate estimated shipping costs for their move. And I'll walk you through building the app with Emergent's AI agents, customizing it, and then we'll deploy it live so that the world can use it. So on that note, let's get started. Building your own app honestly couldn't be easier. Just head over to the Emergent homepage, and I've linked to this in the video description below. And from here, simply enter a text prompt describing what it is you want to create. It doesn't need to be super detailed because you'll be able to work almost hand in hand with the AI agent as you're building the app. But you'll want to describe what it is you want to create here in the prompt box. And for this video, I'm asking the AI to create an app called Room to Move. And the idea here is that the app will give the user the ability to upload images of a room, and then the AI will scan and review those images and give you an estimate on your total shipping cost based on the items in the room and in the photos. Now, this prompt is pretty detailed, but regardless of how detailed your initial prompt is, you'll be able to work and chat with the AI agent to finalize all the features and user experience your app should have, as you'll see in a few moments. Then real quick, before we get started in the build process, I want to quickly go over some of the Emergent features within the prompt box. Starting in the left corner, the paperclip icon allows you to upload files and images to use and reference when creating apps. We're not going to use it in this video, but this is a very helpful tool. Next to that is where you can connect your GitHub account to access all of your private and public repositories. Next to that, the little robot icon is your AI agent selector. By default, it will use Emergent's E1, which is stable and thorough, but you could change it to E1.1, which is faster and more flexible. And then there's even a mobile agent for mobile apps and projects. Next, we have a switch to enable Ultra Thinking, which is only available to pro users, and Ultra allows the agent to reason deeply through complex problems. So if you want this feature, you'll need to upgrade. Next to that is the model selector. By default, Emergent uses Claude 4.0 Sonnet, but you could switch it to Claude 4.0 Extended, which is only available to pro users, or OpenAI's GPT-5. Next, let's take a look at the advanced controls inside Emergent, and if you click on that little icon, you'll see options to fine-tune how your app is built. From here, you could select MCP tools, and these are integrations that allow your agent to directly interact with apps, data, and services like Supabase, Notion, and even custom servers. You can also choose a template. In this case, I'll go with the full stack template, which gives me a complete setup for both front end and back end, so I can build a fully functional app. And then there's also a budget slider there where you could set how many credits you want to allocate to the build. Think of this as like giving your agent the resources it needs to handle the job. Then under privacy, you can decide whether the project stays private or it gets shared with other users. And for this demo, I'm going to keep it private. All right, then if you'd rather talk instead of type, you can click the microphone to start voice recording and give your instructions verbally. Then finally, under the prompt box are some quick start shortcut prompts. These create a text prompt for you and give you a fast way to get started if you're having trouble thinking of what you want to create. Okay, so I know that was kind of a little detour, but I wanted you to have a solid understanding of what these features did before we built the app. And on that note, whenever you're ready, click that little arrow icon in the bottom right corner of the prompt box, and that will send this prompt to our AI agent, Neo. And it'll also open the chat and preview interface split into two main sections. On the left side is the chat and project panel where you could see your prompt any notes, and all the tools to adjust or refine what the AI is building you. And then on the right side is the live preview window where you'll actually be able to see and use your app once it's done being built. Now, a couple things to point out, and one of the many reasons why I love Emergent. As I mentioned in the intro, your AI agent is building your app, but it's doing so based on your vision, essentially vibe coding alongside you. And then one thing I love is that if it has questions as to how to proceed, it'll ask you. As you can see here, it looks like our agent needs some clarification on a few things before moving forward. It's asking which model it should use for the AI image analysis feature. Then it wants to know how to handle the pricing logic. Then for item detection accuracy, how detailed it should be. And it's asking about the export features priority. It also gives some options as to how to answer these questions and move forward, which helps with the decision-making process on my end. So if your AI agent asks questions, simply answer back in the chat box like so. And I'll list out my answers and say, use ChatGPT 5, create a default rate structure, keep basic categories for item detection accuracy, and then for the export priority, both are equally important. Then I'll send that through and reply back to Neo, hopefully helping to further understand how I want this app to function. And then you'll see on the left-hand side of the screen the agent status and log of what it's doing. You'll notice that the agent is running and has integrated ChatGPT and is now processing the next step. Now, for the sake of time, I'm going to fast forward a bit because due to the complexity of my app, it took a minute or so to process, but while our AI agent is working, I want to point out some things to look for as it's building the app. First, you want to keep an eye out on the agent status. As it starts piecing things together, you may see some things appear on the right-hand side of the screen that look like a finished product. But if you see that the agent's status is still running, that means that it's still processing the next step and it isn't quite done yet. However, after a few moments, you may see that the agent has changed to the testing agent and is basically QAing the app before you can access it. We even get a note from the agent telling us that there were some errors and it's running the testing agent again to confirm that the fix works. You can even click on the testing agent icon there, and this will change the preview screen to the testing agent's checklist where you can essentially monitor and watch it QA and test the app in real time. That's pretty cool. Then if you close this screen out, you'll need to click the preview button in the upper right corner to open the app preview environment again, just FYI. Okay, then, again, for the sake of time, let me fast forward really quick. And when the agent is done running, editing, and testing, we'll get the agent finished notification, along with the ability to save the code to our GitHub repository. Then, if you take a closer look at the chat on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see a detailed overview and comprehensive summary of the app. This is great because it breaks down everything into clear sections like the core features, technical implementation, testing results, and operational features. Instead of just giving you a vague description, it lays out exactly how the app was built, what technologies are being used on the back end and front end, and even how well it performed during testing. That's amazing. It's almost like having project documentation automatically written for you while the app is being developed. And speaking of our app, on the right, you get this interactive preview of the app that you can use and test before officially deploying. And I gotta say, the fact that I can create a fully functional app from a simple text prompt and vibe coding is pretty amazing. Now, you can use the app right here in the preview, but if you look in the upper right corner, you also have the option to open the preview in a new tab, giving you the ability to get the full end user experience as if they're using the app on a desktop. And let's run through it really quick. So, for starters, the layout is super clean and minimal, which I like, but you can easily change it if you want, and I'll show you how to do that in just a bit. Then it looks like our first step is to upload some images, and you can drag and drop your photos directly into the upload box or click the Choose Images button to browse your files, and I'm going to go ahead and do that and select a photo of a living room for my computer, and you'll see it appear in the app under Selected Images. Now, for the sake of time, I'm only uploading one image, but you can upload up to 6 images at a time, which gives the AI a good amount of data to work with. All right, then once we've uploaded the image or images, let's click the Analyze Room button, and the app immediately starts processing the image. And you'll see a status in the button that says Analyzing Images. Again, this is something we can update with our AI agent in the chat if we want to change that a little later on. But once it's done analyzing the image, the app detects all of the items in the room. And on the next screen, it gives us a full editable list of everything it found. For example, here's Looks like the L-shaped sectional, 3-seater sofa, coffee table, rugs, lamps, and even decorative items like framed artwork and throws. Each item is categorized with its estimated volume, weight, and cost automatically calculated. And if something's off, looks like you can adjust the details or remove an item completely. And then you also have the option to add custom items manually if the AI missed something. That's great. Then at the bottom of the list, you'll find the moving detail section. Here you can enter specifics about your move, like your home type, the number of floors, whether there's an elevator available, the distance you're moving, and the packing option that you want. And for this example, I'm going to select house, set the distance to 50 miles, and choose full service for packing. Okay, everything looks good, so we're ready for the final step. So let's click Calculate Estimate, and the app should generate our moving costs based on all the information provided. And there we go. The app has generated our full moving estimate. On the left-hand side, you'll see a detailed itemized list showing everything the AI detected from the photos. And then on the right, we get the summary panel, which highlights the key moving details, as well as our total, which is $4,900 for a 50-mile move with full service packing. Now, one of the best parts about this app is the ability to export your results. You'll notice two options, export CSV and export PDF. At the time of this preview, the PDF button isn't working yet, but no worries, we'll fix that later with our AI agent. But if we click on the CSV export button, that works perfectly. And we get an instant download, and this makes it super easy to share with the moving company or even adjust the numbers manually if needed. And while the app is already fully functional and delivering accurate moving estimates, in my opinion, this is just the beginning. What makes Emergent so powerful is that you don't have to stop here. If something isn't working quite right, like the PDF export we just saw, or if you want to change the UI, you can simply go back to the chat with your AI agent and tell it to fix the issue. So, back at our chat, within the text box in the lower left corner of the screen, simply tell the agent what you want to update. So for this first example, I'm going to say refresh the room to move UI with a clean, modern look. Now, I'm obviously leaving a lot of room open for interpretation, but I want to see how it takes this prompt and what the end result will be. So let's send this through and watch the AI go to work. Again, this only took a minute or so to complete, but once it's done, you'll get another detailed overview of everything the AI agent accomplished. This report is broken down into clear sections so you can instantly see what was changed. For example, here the agent gives me a modern UI refresh completed summary. It starts with the design transformations. It also upgraded the step process indicator, making it more visual with circular icons, color-coded progress, and clear labels under each step. Looks like the uploaded section also got a refresh with a larger area, gradient buttons, and modern hover effects, while the overall app now includes contemporary visual elements. These changes aren't just cosmetic, they give the app a polished, professional look that feels modern and more user-friendly. And what's really impressive is that all of this was applied automatically, and then I get a written breakdown here in the chat so I know exactly what was changed and why. It's like having a designer and a developer on your team, keeping you updated after every round of enhancements. Then let's run through the app again really quick. I just want to test the user experience and make sure it's behaving as expected. And I gotta say, I love the updated look. Now, probably should have gone into more detail in terms of the color scheme and overall typography, but I'm happy with the direction that the AI went with. And it looks like we even get emojis in the detected items list. That's a nice little touch there. And then let's fill out the property and service details. Again, looks like the AI added some emojis in the drop-down menus, and I like the layout here as well, clean and modern. And then let's send this through. And we get our estimate, looks great. Then let's test the PDF export button again. Still not working, but the CSV one does work. No worries, let's head back to the Emergent AI agent chat, and this time I'll tell it that the export PDF button doesn't work in the get estimate section and nothing happens when I click on it. And then we'll send that through to Neo, and our AI dev agent gets to work troubleshooting, debugging, QAing, testing, and editing the fix. Then you'll want to keep your eye out for communication from the agent in the chat. And when it's done, you'll get something like this, a clear update showing exactly what was fixed. Here, the agent applied an initial fix to the PDF export issue by correcting the import statements and syntax, rebuilding the app with the proper libraries, and testing the export to make sure it now works without errors. It even lists out the verification steps so you know what was done under the hood. Perfect. Then let's test it out for ourselves and make sure the fix works. So Once I calculate the estimate in the moment of truth, we click the export PDF button. Voila, it worked, and the button does what it's intended to do. And we get this great PDF of our moving cost estimate. Looks great. All right, so I could obviously keep working with the AI agent to make more edits, features, designs, changes, etc. But for the sake of time, let's move on and deploy this app so people can access it online. Now that we've walked through the build and testing process, it's time to talk about deployment. Ultimately, we're going to deploy this app on a custom domain so it feels polished and production ready. But before we get there, it's helpful to look at some of the other deployment options that you have along the way. For example, one of the quickest ways to share your app is by generating a preview subdomain. You can do this by clicking the share button in the top right corner of the preview screen. And this gives you a temporary link, usually active for about 30 minutes, that you could copy and share with teammates or clients. It's a great option for quick demos or for gathering feedback before you push the app live on your own domain. And speaking of that, let's officially deploy our app. So first things first, click on the deploy button in the upper right corner of the screen, and this will open the deploy panel. And before we officially deploy the app, it's a good idea to run a health check. This step helps catch any deployment blockers in advance, saving you from unnecessary issues once the app is live. And from the deployment screen, you'll see the option labeled Pre-Deployment Health Check. And when you click Run Health Check, the agent will automatically perform a code review. This process takes a couple of credits and usually is only a minute or two to complete. And once it's running, you'll see the status update in real time with a message that says agent is running. And again, this took a few minutes to complete, so you'll need to sit tight while it does its thing. But when the check is done, you'll get a detailed deployment readiness report. And this report reviews things like environment variables, database connections, security, technical compatibility, and overall application health. And now that the health check has passed, let's walk through the actual deployment process. So on the deployment panel, you'll see the option to start a new deployment. Keep in mind that each new deployment costs 50 credits, and you can monitor your credit usage in the nav at the top of the screen. So we're good, and we can move forward with this deployment by clicking the Start Deployment button. Next, a confirmation window appears, reminding you that each new deployment costs 50 credits per month, and to always preview the app before deploying, which we've done, and we are all good to go on this front as well. Also, and I'm glad they do this, Emergent lets you know that each deployment can take anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes to finish, so keep that in mind as you're waiting for the job to complete. And on that note, let's go ahead and click the Deploy Now button in the bottom right corner of the screen. And at this point, the deployment process has begun. You'll see the system step through tasks like building package, migrate database, exporting secrets, deploy, and run health check. A timestamp will also appear showing when the deployment officially started. Now, I think this one took around 5 minutes to finish, but once the deployment is completed, you'll notice a green live badge appear in your deployments panel, and that means the app is live. So go ahead and click the Visit button to open it, and the front end looks great on our desktop. And if we take a look at the URL, the app is now running on the Emergent free subdomain, and in this case, the URL is roomtomove.emergent.host. Okay, so the app is live, but I want it to be on a professional custom top-level domain. So Emergent has one of the easiest ways to connect a third-party domain to your app, and it literally takes a few seconds. No DNS or CNAME record changes, just a few clicks of the mouse and you're good to go. So back at the deployment panel, click where it says Link Domain. Then in the field provided, type the domain that you want to connect to the app, and this will need to be a domain that you own. You can't purchase domains through this panel. Then after you enter your domain, click the Next button, and you'll see that your domain is in a pending status. So the next step is to configure your DNS records. And you could do this manually, but if you want to make your life easier, I highly recommend using Entry. And let me show you what I mean. So instead of having to manually configure the DNS records of my domain in GoDaddy, if I click the Configure with Entry button, I'll be taken through Entry and a few steps to have them configure my DNS records for me so that the domain works with my app. And Entry is both secure with encrypted login protection and super easy because, as I said, it automatically configures your DNS settings without needing a developer. So to get started, go ahead and click Continue. Next, you'll need to confirm your email address. So just enter your preferred email address to create a free Entry account and click the Continue button. And then after that, you'll need to verify it's really you by entering the 4-digit code sent to the inbox that you signed up with. And I'm not showing that in this video, but once you do that, you'll be able to be verified, and Entry will ask you to authorize your domain registrar. In this case, since the domain is managed with GoDaddy, we'll click Authorize with GoDaddy. And this gives one-time permission for Entry to connect and configure the DNS. And you'll see a confirmation screen from GoDaddy asking if you'd like to connect your domain and update its DNS records, which we do. So go ahead and click the Connect button to approve. And that's it. Entry takes care of the rest. You'll see a success screen confirming that your domain is now configured. And keep in mind that while changes usually take a few hours, it can sometimes take up to 48 hours for everything to fully propagate. Then, about after 15 minutes, I clicked the refresh icon here in the custom domain section of the deployment panel. And now the domain is listed as being verified. Then if we open up a new browser window and I enter my custom domain, roomtomoveapp.com. Boom. It's connected to the app that we built with Emergent and is now live and running on our very own custom domain. This step makes your project feel much more official because instead of a temporary subdomain, users will be able to access your app directly through a branded URL. And that's it. You just saw how to take a simple idea and turn it into a fully working app with Emergent. And what makes Emergent so exciting to me is how fast and accessible it makes app creation. From security checks to scaling insights to GPT features, it gives you everything you need to go from idea, product, to done. And if you want to try Emergent for yourself, make sure to click the link in the video description below and start building your own AI-powered app today. Also, if you found this tutorial helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more AI tool walkthroughs just like this one. And let me know in the comments below what kind of app you're going to build with Emergent. And on that note, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. So that's going to do it for this video. If you found it helpful, I'd greatly appreciate it if you would like, comment, share, and subscribe to the Blog with Ben YouTube channel. Also, if you're looking to start a blog, check out these 2 videos on how to build, grow, and monetize a WordPress blog. They'll walk you through the entire process step by step. And as always, your support means a great deal to me and my family, and for that, I thank you. So with that being said, I'll see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.